maintain the streetlights? Do y'all get to set the timing?
We do not. We do not. So all of the traffic signals that we maintain are owned by SCDOT. So with that, we signed into a signal maintenance agreement, which means that we will maintain them, right? So if a red ball or a green ball or something goes out, they will allow us to go into their equipment and change it out and do all that. Timings are set by a professional engineer. So none of our guys are engineers. And so basically we just maintain the maintenance. They do allot us a small amount of money to do, whether we're doing a like signal changing or timing, whatever, we'll do a traffic study and we'll see the amount of money that's given is really not even enough to do one traffic study throughout the entire city. So we kind of have a gray area, but we are working with our partners in Beaufort County. And we actually just had a meeting yesterday. We got some new timings for Boundary Street and Rebo Road. We're working some of the main corridors right now to try to improve those this year. And then I believe we're hoping that 170 corridor gets addressed next year.
So do those changes have to be approved by DOT or
They do.
can y'all decide?
They do get approved by SCDOT. So we worked with the engineering firm. They went in and did traffic studies and looked at the timings that are existing. They made changes. They send it up to DOT. DOT approves it and then sends it back.
Hey, to follow up on that, are any of these lights on a sensor?
They are, so we have 3 different types of detection. So we have what is called like induction loops. So the induction loops are in the ground and it's wound wire. So when your car pulls up over it, it creates a signal that goes back to the cabinet and lets the cabinet know there's a car sitting there and it'll put a call in. We also have video detection. The video detection, obviously it creates little boundaries, and when a car pulls in there, it allows that to send to the computer, the conflict, not the conflict monitor, the controller, puts a call into the controller, and then that controller is what lets them know that that light needs to go green for that section of the roadway. And then we also have what's called Sensus. Sensus is an underground puck that sits in the road. It shoots a beam up in like a 45-degree angle. And so if you're ever driving down the road and you see little orange or black circles on the road, that there's usually like 1 or 2 or 3 right behind the stop bar, and they're about 10 or 15 feet apart. Those are what pick up the cars. We're moving away from Sensus. So DOT no longer reimburses for Sensus. So we have decided to move away from that, and we were using more above ground equipment. It's easier to maintain. It's easier to work on whenever you have issues. So we have been starting, you'll start seeing some different things. I don't know if you've been to the Ladies Island Drive where you see the big pole and it's like looks like a bell sitting on it. That's a fisheye camera that detects cars in that intersection. So we're going to be moving to more of that video detection. Does that answer your question? So when it comes to the timings, it does sometimes get frustrating, and I understand that. And it kind of gets in that gray area of who's responsible and all that. But we do try to work with any issues that are out there and try to work with DOT as well.
For those reimbursements, do you have to keep track of different, the hours you spend on different things, and then you submit that to DOT to get reimbursed, or does that count?
So for the traffic signals, they set an allotment. And so basically each intersection has an allotted amount of money that they will reimburse.
By
So-
intersection? Okay.
So it's by intersection. It's not by, let's say you have a big intersection like McDonald's intersection. It may be worth $3,500 to them. And then you have like Joe Frazier and Broad River Boulevard. That's probably like a $1,200, $1,000 intersection. There's less heads. There's not as much, pedestrian crosswalks and stuff like that. So.
I'm sorry. How, if the community feels like a new stoplight is warranted somewhere, how long does it take for that to happen? Years?
I would defer to, higher representatives than me because it doesn't come from us when we recommend new traffic signals. It usually comes from higher delegation.
That's a conversation that starts with DOT, and then they have to perform a traffic study. And they determine if a signal is warranted or not warranted. And they are the final say on that. So, we can identify places where we think we need a traffic signal, but ultimately they'll come in and they'll take a look. And then they'll issue a report as to whether they feel like a traffic signal needs to be installed there. Sometimes when we feel like a traffic signal needs to be installed, they'll point out reasons why it would actually make the conditions a little more less safe. So they have traffic engineers that look at that, and we don't have that final authority at the local level.
The more accidents, the more likely it'll get light.
But it could take a while, right?
DOT's not a fast mover.
So, I mean, and I can just say this too, that, you know, right now we're currently going through signal rebuilds. So I don't know if you've seen some of the intersections that we have that they're starting to put up new signal heads, new span wires, and they went in and fixed some of the sidewalks to make them handicap accessible and some other stuff. Those rebuilds can take anywhere between, 6 months to a year. And that's just rebuilding an existing intersection. So to get a new intersection built and those traffic studies and all that stuff, it could take possible multiple years to get that pushed through.
And does the city have to pay for it?
SCDOT pays for it. They're all SCDOT assets. The only thing that the city owns is the 2 traffic signals at the fire station.
Can I ask about the process, the best process to request for maybe different timing? That be through C-Click Fix or city manager or you or?
I would request, if you're requesting a new timing for an intersection, it would probably be best to draft an email to me directly. So that I have that on file and I can keep track as I forward, because I will forward that email to DOT and say, hey, we're having people complain and say that these timings need to be looked at. What can we do? Can we do a joint effort? Or, hey, when is this slotted to get rebuilt and new timings and all of that? So, but I think email would be more formal than C-Click Fix. How did I know traffic was gonna be available?
Always is.
Our facilities division, most of you probably know Al Ameley. He is, unfortunately, but good for him, he's retiring. So October 31st will be his last day with the city of Beaufort. We've appreciated everything that he has done for us. And there's no way we can soak up the amount of knowledge he has in these next 30 days. We have, however, hired Brian Ranger as his replacement. He comes with a lot of facilities knowledge, both from Hilton Head and Bluffton. 12 city buildings maintained. That also includes 10 bathrooms and smaller buildings, kind of the Marina, Waterfront Park, Whitehall, Washington Southside, and Pigeon Point, where we have those other bathrooms and other locations. The facilities division is a direct liaison with all of our contracts, JCI, Terminex. You have the cleaning contractors, and I could probably go on. There's so many elevators and fire and all that. So this one person for a one-man division serves as the on-call emergency for all buildings, provide minor and medium electrical, mechanical, structure, plumbing, HVAC repairs, assist the parks with the bathrooms, and assist downtown operation with quotes for repairs for buildings and grounds that you would find down in the downtown area. Some of the things they work on, this is the most common. I can tell you that the city manager probably knows that thing by heart now. So the chiller. So the chiller is what provides the air conditioning for PD Court and City Hall. It is a fun piece of equipment to learn. So, and then these are some of the other things that we maintain, part of the Spanish Moss Trail at the Depot building. Yes, sir.
How old is the system for the air conditioning system?
That system was installed, I want to say 8 years ago.
We had Johnson Controls, I think came in and did a
Yep.
refix.
Fleet division is again one person. He maintains and schedules the work for all the public work vehicles, for all the heavy equipment to include the trailers. And he does in-house repair on over 50 small engine equipment, including mowers, saws, landscape equipment. And that number has probably grown since then, with some of the equipment that we've got for taking on different duties. He repairs down equipment when in the field, and we have mobile capabilities. He's got air compressors and welding machines and all that he has attached that he can work out of his truck. He specs out all of our new equipment. We got a couple lifts at Public Works to allow us to be able to work on our own equipment. We have the ability to remove and balance our own tires, and that's for light duty vehicles. That's not for heavy equipment. And then he used to act as the safety officer. He was allowed to pass that on, and now Miguel, who you saw earlier, does most of our safety stuff. We do a weekly safety meeting with all of our guys. Some of the fun things he gets to do. This is our maintenance area at Public Works, or working on the sweeper truck. He also sets up and helps with the Christmas parades and some of the other stuff. We had a state troopers, I believe, come and give us a drunk driving class. And so you get to drive the little thing as it goes crazy while you're doing it. Parks Division. Adam Wellens is a supervisor. He has 7 full-time employees. We have over 30 passive and small parks, 3 large parks that we maintain with a trail and open space, 6 total playgrounds. I know some of you have seen the new playground at Southside and the new playground that was installed at Pigeon Point. Assist with the maintenance and repair of medians and streetscapes. What I mean by that is if you go down like Bladen Street or Duke Street, and you see some of those streetscapes that are out there, we assist with the maintenance. Those are under contract to be maintained, but we also assist with repairs of irrigation and other issues like that. They oversee the Spanish Moss Trail operations and coordinate directly with the Friends of the Spanish Moss Trail. And Adam is also the city liaison for the Parks and Tree Advisory Committee. Some of the stuff that we have: small bush hogs, mini bobcats, mower max, street sweepers, ride-on blowers. Some of the work that they've done around the park. That's TikTok playground. Little Pigeon Point. Maintaining dog parks at Southside. And then this is just some of the things that we do throughout. We pull the floats. We do backflow testing. We went to a SC 811 cut line class, storm debris, putting new signs on the day dock, street sweeping.
Signs, but no bumpers or repairs or anything like that for the docks.
We don't, we basically do like small repairs, like your cleat maintenance. Most of the maintenance we did was back when the old Pigeon Point dock had the full existing link. We did small repairs for that. We did fully rebuild one of them before, but not a whole lot of maintenance on that. Most of that gets sent out and quoted out for
So
contractors.
downtown Marina, Broad River, you don't do any of that.
No, not really. It was just on the small marina that we had at Pigeon Point is mainly what we did. Most of that stuff down at the marina gets contracted out, just to make sure that it meets all the requirements.
Hey, can you just explain briefly to everybody, since we're still in storm season,
It's
what you guys do during storm season when you know that one's coming in with regard to the tidal gates, or how we adjust the laps and that kind of thing, just to let them know.
okay. So, try to make it quick but informative, but because we do a whole lot before the storm comes, right? One, we got to prep all of our equipment, make sure that it's up. We maintain 2 6-inch pumps and 2 4-inch pumps. But before the storm comes, usually about 5 days before the storm comes, on the Spanish Moss Trail, we have 5 tidal gates. right? Those tidal gates have floats on them that set the elevation that was set by OCRM to allow water to come in, right? It manages the amount of tide. I believe it's set at somewhere around 5.5 feet of tide. So if we get a 9 foot or 8 foot tide, it only allows 5.5 feet to come in every single time. And so what that does is it creates a little bit of room for storage. Now, when a storm's inbound, like right now, if you were to go out to the Spanish Moss Trail, well, maybe not now, we're going out there at 11 o'clock because that was low tide. So on Monday, we went out and we locked Friday before the weekend, we went out and locked the tide gates down. So what that means is no tide comes in, but all water can go out at low tide. So it creates an enormous amount of storage if we get, say, 4 inches of rain. So it allows all that water to come in, and then the tidal gates have flaps on the side that lock down, but it allows when the pressures change, with low tide, it allows them to open and water dump out the sides, but it doesn't allow the front gate to open. So that keeps the tide from coming in and creates storage for all that rain we're about to get. Now, whenever, I believe it was we had the big heavy rains with Debbie, right? So when Debbie came last year, the rain amounts were way more than what we probably could keep storage wise. So we set the 2 6-inch pumps up to work in conjunction with the tidal gates. So we could still pump water at high tide. And so what that allowed for us was, as it was raining and it just kept raining and raining and raining, we were getting water out as fast as possible during high and low tides. And I think we saw a huge difference from prior storms with the way that we set up and did that this past year with Debbie. So that's the quick for the tidal gates. We do a whole bunch of other things. We go through, we inspect all the pipe mouths, the ditches. We go through, look at all the boxes. We try to identify hot spots, areas that flood. We look into different things that we can do to mitigate. We pump ponds down that are within the city. And this is all just prior to the storm coming.
And clean the storm drains.
We do clean the storm drains, the valley drains, and we try to do everything we can to assist. And it doesn't matter if it's DOT, private or city owned, we go throughout the entire city to check and make sure that it's maintained, cleaned and upkept.
Yeah, that's good. Nate's being very humble with what he and his team do day in and day out, much less when we get a crisis situation like a storm. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this, because I'm not the kind of person who exaggerates life. There's nothing short of heroic. His team is absolutely fabulous. And they are truly the unsung heroes of our city staff. And Nate does a tremendous job managing. He's got a good management team underneath him. And I can't say enough good things about it. I would say this, even if he wasn't here, I'd say even more good things, but I don't want to say anything. But they are the hardest working people we have on the job. I think I can say that honestly.
Thank you. I would definitely be lying if I said I couldn't do it without my guys. My guys buy in and they work very hard. And one of my favorite things about my guys is you'll run into them anywhere and you'll never hear them complaining. So they're very, very proud of what they do. Everything we touch will look better and function better. All right, so now to the original reason we were here is the how to use SeeClick Fix. Okay, so I'll let Mr. Jeremiah come up here now. I think we got a bet at Public Works on what the number of tickets from Mr. Jeremiah will be whenever the year ends. But we appreciate it because, again, it makes the city look better. So what is SeeClick Fix? It is a community reporting tool for non-emergency concerns. Residents can report potholes, streetlights out, stormwater blockages, parks and trees, and it provides transparency and progress tracking. Ways to access, you can go to your mobile app, the App Store or Google Play. You'll see a little black box with a wrench and it says SeeClick Fix. You can download that. You can select City of Beaufort. You can go to the City of Beaufort Public Works page on the website, and you can go directly from your desktop to SeeClick Fix and create a login account, and you'll be able to log in straight through the desktop. For this purpose, we went through and kind of break down the website. If you were to go to the cities page and go to the Public Works page, and then page by page kind of show how you can report a concern. So how to submit a request, you open the app or website, you go to click report, select the issue type that you have, drop a pin on the map or use GPS. You can type the address in. Sometimes it gets funny if you put it in the wrong location, it won't save it. So sometimes you just have to manually enter the address. I know, like if we have an issue at Public Works, if you type in or try to drop the pin at Public Works, it won't accept it. You have to drag it to the road and put it out at the roadway. I don't know why, but if you type in 16 Burton Hill Road, boop, it goes right to it. So add photos. This is highly, highly, highly recommended. All right. You know, they say, well, a photo says 1,000 words. It allows us to be able to go and see exactly what we're going to before we get there. i.e., do we need chainsaws, pole saws? Do we need to bring the bucket truck? Do we need to bring knuckle boom? Do we need to bring an excavator? It allows us to see ahead of time what the issue is and what we need to take, saving us time to get out there. Provide a detailed description of the issue and click submit. So real quick on some of these, I would say a good location, the best of your ability, is key. It lets us, I've had people put their own address in, but they're reporting something on the Spanish Moss Trail. So then we got to drive the Spanish Moss Trail the whole length to try to figure out where it's at. When you're taking a photo, try to get something that we can geographically go off of, right? If you're reporting a pothole, don't go like this and take a picture of the pothole. Kind of step back, show the pothole with like either a mailbox with an address or a street crossing sign or a tree or a water or a power pole or something that we can kind of judge where that pothole would be. And then providing a description, it is really helpful to know exactly what we're going to look at. It will kind of, when you submit the ticket, give us an idea of what it is, but your description is really what we go off of to figure out, hey, we're going to this park because there's a broken swing. Well, for those of you that go to a park, is it a handicap swing? Is it a regular kid swing? Is it a bench swing? Is it, a swinging thing that you hang on? Like a good description will help us get there and be able to fix it quickly. And then you click submit and you'll get an email report that gives you a ticket number. And then if you have logged in or entered your address and name and all that, you will be able to follow that ticket from start to finish. So this is, if you go to the city's website and you go to Public Works, and then you go to, at the bottom on the left side, there's a little thing that says SeeClick Fix. If you click on that and you come over here, this is what you're going to see. All right. So first thing you're going to do, go to the city website, click on SeeClick Fix under Public Works. You're going to get here. Go ahead. Select an issue and input a location. So this is that map you're going to see. You can grab that pinpoint and drag it to wherever you want to put it. Once you drag it, it should automatically load an address for you. Say you wanted 16 Burton Hill Road, but it put in like 10 Burton Hill Road. That's where you could change it. and just type in 16 and it would automatically kind of move it to where it is. So for this test one, we did a fallen tree on the Spanish Moss Trail. So now we're going to select our location. So if you look, I just put that it was at the crosswalk of Riverside Drive. So it automatically populated when I put the pin there, 2905 to 2909 Riverside Drive, and where it's at the Spanish Moss Trail. Once you do that, you hit confirm location. Once again, highly recommended that you add a photo. If you have the app on your phone, all you have to do is hit select, take a picture, and while you're putting in the thing, you just reach up, snap a picture of whatever it is that's out there. Or if you don't have the ability to put in a photo, you can click no photo. And so you see for this photo, we put in a picture of a fallen tree that's fell and smashed one of the fence line. I believe that's Whitehall, but so that picture shows, okay, we're gonna need chainsaws. We're also gonna need the knuckle boom because it's more than just a small limb. All right. Once you've added details, click on confirm details. So in this one, you can see test, tree falling at Riverside Drive in the Spanish Moss Trail crossing. Riverside Drive is tree blocking the trail, yes. And then are there any other details? I put a limb still hung in the tree. Then once you do that, you would click on confirm details. How you would like to submit the request. So if you submitted yourself, if you have a login, once you click that, it'll ask you to log in to SeeClickFix. You submit your email and your password, and it'll submit it, and then you'll receive an email that states, here's your ticket number, it's been successfully submitted. If you want to, you can hide your identity, which means you can log in, you can put in your credentials so that you can still see it, but whenever it comes to us, we wouldn't be able to see who put it in or their information. Why is it important for us to see that you submitted it yourself? If we have any questions, we will reach out to you. All right, we will call and say, hey, we've came out, we've seen this, we've done this, but this doesn't seem like this addresses your concern. You know, can you either meet us, can we go through, or do you have a better detail of what's going on? Or you can submit it as a guest, no account required. It'll be sent, but you will not receive any updates of what goes on once it's submitted. So for this one, I just went down and I submitted it as a guest and hit next. It gave me the request number, so I know that ticket is now 20124643. And anytime I go into the SeeClickFix app, I can enter that number. It'll pull this straight up, and I can go to the comments, and down on the comments, it'll have every single detail of what happens throughout the ticket's life. So tracking your request, after submitting, you'll receive a confirmation. You'll get updates whenever it's opened, acknowledged, and closed. And you'll be able to comment or ask questions throughout the process while we're looking at it. If we acknowledge it and say, you know, this belongs to SCDOT, we've turned it over, here's SCDOT's ticket number. A week goes by, you don't hear nothing, you can go back in there and say, you know, we still haven't heard anything. Is there any updates from SCDOT? And then we would be able to answer back to you and let you know what we found from SCDOT. Or if it's us and we can go, hey, we had to order something to fix that water fountain at the playground, or we had to do this or that. So it's a direct way for us to be able to interact with the public. What happens next? We review your request daily. They get assigned by division. And then those are the different divisions of what they may have. And then resolution times may vary. Obviously, if it is something that's not ours, we usually have to wait at least 3 to 5 days to allow the other entities to respond. So whether it's SCDOT, Buford Jasper, Dominion, We try to give them the courtesy to fix their own stuff. If they don't, then we may step in, say, sidewalk needs edged and cleaned and all of that. It's a SCDOT road. It may be 2 weeks, but you may get a answer after 2 weeks because it sat in the queue. We reported it to DOT. It didn't get taken care of. We came back in and we took care of it. So, and I think Nori's pretty good about putting pictures. So we try to, when you put in a picture that shows the before, we try to put in a picture that shows the after so you can see the differences of what you put in and how we fixed it. So when not to use SeeClick Fix, it's not 911. We don't use it for emergencies. Utility issues, water, sewer, power. If you have issues with your water at home, your power at home, your gas at home, any of that, SeeClick Fix can't help you with that. If you have an issue with a light on a power pole not working on the street, that's something you could report. But anything for your private home is not something that you would report to SeeClick Fix. We would want you to go straight to your utility provider. And then general questions, we would prefer that you call Public Works office directly. At the very end, we have a slide that has all of our information on it. Or you can email and talk to us that way. Just because SeeClick Fix is more of a work order system, we want to keep track of the maintenance that we do in that and not general questions. The benefits for the residents: convenient and fast reporting, transparency and accountability, photos and details help the staff respond faster, and it builds community partnership. The benefits for Public Works: it streamlines our work orders, it reduces duplicate calls and emails, and data trail for recurring issues, and it improves efficiency and service delivery. One big thing, whenever you pull up SeeClick Fix and you want to, say, put in an issue for a street light that's out and there's already a SeeClick Fix in for that same street light, it will ask you, do you want to just monitor the SeeClick Fix request that has already been put in? So Public Works isn't getting 6 requests for the same light out, but you can still see everything that goes through that original SeeClick Fix that was put in. You'll get added to that. And then here's our contact information. 843-525-7054 is our main line. Jamie Daniel at cityofbuford.org. She is our administrative assistant. She takes in most of the calls and issues that are handled. If for some reason you have a technical question or you just want to reach out to me, I will always give my email address. So it's nfarrow@cityofbuford.org. And then this is the link to the City of Buford SeeClick Fix website. Pretty painless. So that was kind of just a quick, easy way to go through SeeClick Fix and report issues throughout the city. Are there any questions? Anybody want to talk more about traffic?
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah, how do you reduce?
So a couple things. I talked to my supervisors this morning and just said, hey, what are some issues or things that you want me to talk about that may help people in understanding? So first, we're going to go back to traffic real quick. I want to talk about pedestrian crosswalks. Okay, a lot of people don't understand the workings of pedestrian crosswalks, and they get confused with the proper way to use them. So when you come up to, let's say, an intersection that has the pedestrian push button, and you push that push button, it's just like a car pulling up over the sensor. It puts a call into the traffic cabinet, and then that traffic cabinet waits until that pedestrian crossing works in conjunction with the traffic in the intersection. So once it gives you the Walkman, the white symbol of the man walking across the street, you usually get about a 5 to 8 second window. All right, so it starts a 5 to 8 second countdown. That is the only time you are allowed to enter the intersection, is while that Walkman is lit up on the crosswalk. Once the timer starts and it starts the countdown, or you see the hand doing the pulse in motion, you are no longer allowed to enter the intersection. That is the allowable time for a handicapped individual to get across the road. The reason is because most intersections, when they give the Walkman, it still holds the traffic to allow the pedestrian to get into the crosswalk so the traffic can see the pedestrian. Once that Walkman goes away, it gives the green light back to traffic, and no one else is supposed to be entering that intersection. So you see like, oh, I got 1 second left on the timer, I'm gonna just run across the road. No, that is not allowed. You only allowed to enter the intersection when that Walkman symbol starts, all right? You may show up and there may be 15 seconds left counting down. You're still not supposed to enter the intersection because the traffic is not prepared for you to enter that intersection, all right, safely. Questions about it?
So is this a problem? This is why you guys are wanting to share this?
So, I will tell you with traffic nowadays, pedestrian safety is a major concern. And so just from what we've noticed by us going out and working the intersections with vests on and hard hats and everything, I can tell you we did an inspection of Rebo Road last year. I almost got hit 3 times and I had on a reflective vest and I was following the rules and trying to do, and cars would still just, it's like they were just gonna go no matter if they were supposed to or not. And so it's a concern. We've had a couple questions from the Friends of the Spanish Moss Trail, especially where like the trail crosses major intersections. So we had to kind of give a little class and say, look, you know, you got 20 10 speeds on the trail. You know, once that Walkman comes on and it goes off, no more 10 speeds are supposed to be crossing that road. So, and it's just a safety factor, and that's the main reason.
And they are not just the signalized intersections, it's the ones that we have with those little, I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, the warnings.
The little warning thing, and also the striping is not as lit up or as prominent as it probably should be, but that's still controlled by SCDOT.
Yeah.
It's not the city.
So, you know, I would just say if you were crossing at an intersection that's going to be the safest way for you to cross the road. If you're crossing on Bay Street, there's a lot of cars parked on the side of the road. Just be patient, right? I know that I've went to cross and I stand there and cars keep going and you just got to wait till you get the respectful driver to stop and try to wait for you, because pedestrians have the right of way, but you're not wearing, 2,000 pounds of stuff to help protect you when you get hit by a car. So, you use good judgment and go, I'm not going to walk out in front of this F-250 and try to take it on just because I have the right of way. I'm at 15 seconds of patience can do a lot of good. All right.
I would just like to say, I don't know, seems like more, I guess, warning pedestrians is good. Of course, you know, we all want to be safe, but let's educate the drivers. And when you're driving, look out for people, 2 tons versus a person. You should yield.
Yeah. And I truly believe that, drivers, they, when you get a driver's license, you assume a risk of people around you. And you need to be more vigilant and careful when you're driving.
And I, following up on that, I know this in your area, it's probably the chief, but is that a violation? For some driver to drive not stop for somebody?
I would let them speak on that. I don't want to go into laws that we have no enforcement,
It's not
so,
your,
yeah. Well, I'm sure they could.
You're supposed to cross in the crosswalk and you can't cross against the crosswalk signal like Nick was talking about earlier. Basically, it's incumbent upon you to watch for traffic, right? As a pedestrian, you have a little bit of more agility and mobility than a car does to stop. Depending on how fast the car is going, as it is speed 60 miles per hour, it takes you almost a football field time to get stopped. So, you know, it's common sense on both sides, right? Don't just assume, hey, I'm a pedestrian, I've got the right of way, I'm gonna cross.
Chief, I understand it's common sense, but can somebody get a ticket if they do it?
If they cross and they're not supposed to, yes, ma'am.
What about the driver?
Yeah, it's a driver get a ticket.
It depends on what the situation is, quite frankly. If the driver has the green and somebody crosses in front of him against the signal,
What
is
if-
the driver at fault?
What if you're in an unsignaled crosswalk?
It just depends on the circumstances and the situation. If the driver is going too fast, is the person already, you know, there, it just depends really, but you're supposed to cross at the crosswalks with the signal. When there's no signal, still use the crosswalk and you have to make sure the way is clear. It's really just about everyone's safety, pedestrian and driver's safety. Nobody wants that.
So we'll move away from traffic. And Adam asked me, he said that another issue that we ask is that we get a lot of calls about and we have some issues with. And it's not just at the dog park, but it is throughout all of our parks, is please ensure to clean up after your pets. I know, right, there's not someone watching everyone all the time, but I mean, there's probably at least 1 to 6 or 8 doggy waste stations in every park that you go to, and we try to keep them full and maintained. The Spanish Moss Trail has one or 2 in almost every section of it. But you know, it's a simple thing. We provide the doggy waste station bags, as well as the ability for you to throw them away right there, so you don't have to carry it around or put it back in your car or do any of that. So we just would appreciate some help if you see issues or you are a pet owner, to please just clean up after your pet. I think that's all I got for right now.
I guess we go cut you off anyway, Nick.
It's very important stuff.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much, Nate. He's gonna stick around because we're still gonna talk about some things that involve him. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is the capital improvements and updates. So you may have seen that we are getting ready to start 2 stormwater drainage construction projects. One is gonna be on King Street and one is gonna be on Charles Street. So why is this important? I wanna talk about why it's important, because I know we can all get focused on, this is a direct disruption to us, and you know, it's downtown, there's 2 projects going on at the same time. We completely understand that. But it is super important, especially in a coastal town, to protect our waterways. Is these upgrades will help reduce future flooding, it's gonna improve water quality, protect our coastal environment, support long-term resiliency in the face of the sea level rise and the heavy storms. So just wanted to kind of give you a heads up today that these projects are getting ready to start in the month of October. And so why 2 projects simultaneously downtown? Because of funding. If we don't get them started, they have to be done and completed by a certain date. So in order to receive the funding and not lose the funding, they have to be started at the same time. So again, we know that no time downtown is a good time to do construction, but we are doing our best to keep it as minimal as possible. And I know they are doing block by block construction so that we're not opening the entire street of King Street at the same time. So they are literally working within the block, they'll complete the block, close it up, move on to the next block, so that portion will open back up. So as a city, we also want to make sure we're transparent and that we're communicating exactly what areas are gonna be open, what the detour routes need to be, what you need to know. So definitely be paying attention to our social media and tracking along with us as we share these projects and as these projects are completed. So just some quick details on the King Street one, because I know we have someone here from, Jason Hetrick's gonna kind of help with the Charles Street, answering your questions and explanations. But King Street, we are going to be from Hamilton all the way to West Street. And again, we're working in one block increments, so you're looking at Hamilton's east to New, so they're gonna break it down by that. So, of course, we'll have some construction going on within that block, but you'll be able to move around, and then we'll have new stormwater drains once that's completed. So did you wanna talk about the Charles Street?
Yeah,
Everybody, this is Jason.
good morning, everyone. So up here so I can read the. Way of the camera. Video, I'm better meet on the schedule, so, we're the design engineer for the Charles Street Office of Resilience project that extends from the waterfront park up through Charles Street, and then down Craven Street, and as well as North Street. It's a project funded through the Office of Resilience, 100% federally funded project, so, no dollars from the city, going towards it, which is always great when you get free money. With no strings, the only strings attached being it has to be done by this time next year, midsummer next year. So that's the duplication of projects. Our contractor is awarded the contract and is mobilizing this week. Expect to see them out and about over the next couple of weeks doing utility markings, test pitting, things like that. They will be starting their work at the on Charles Street, just up from Bay Street, and I'm going to be working from that intersection, just up from there, up Charles Street and then down Craven Street, starting at the end of this month through the end of the year into early January. Beginning of February, they'll be doing Charles Street just north of Craven Street up to North Street and then down North Street, and that'll take into about May, late April. At that point, they'll be jumping back down to the waterfront park and Bay Street intersection. Still a little bit up in the air if they're going to do the Bay Street intersection in the month of April, and then move to the waterfront park and put the new pipeline through the park to the harbor, or do that part and then come back and do Bay Street at the very end.
This is all stormwater.
All stormwater. We're basically taking a 36-inch or 48-inch pipe that's there today and putting a 72-inch pipe. All new drainage systems. At the end of the day, the roads will be all repaved. Any sidewalk damage or replacement will be done that's impacted by the sidewalks.
Will they close these roads, these sections?
Yes.
Fully closed?
Yes.
Will this happen at night, or is it all gonna be?
These sections will be closed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in sections. They need to do that for multiple reasons. One is there are a lot of underground utilities that need to be moved out of the way so that we can put the much larger pipes in. So while the contractor will be putting pipes in one block area, the utility companies will be in the next block up, relocating their utilities and moving them out of the way. So these sections, so for Charles Street from just north of Bay Street up into Craven Street will be entirely closed through traffic. Local traffic will be maintained as needed to allow access to property owners and businesses. Raul, who is at a training session today, he's the capital projects director, and he'll be meeting with the contractor, with property owners on a one-by-one basis. And communication will be a forefront in giving every property owner understanding of when will be in front of their business or their house, and what sort of impact they might have during that. But we're maintaining property access as much as possible. Of course, if we're putting a 72-inch pipe right in front of someone's driveway, there's going to be an 8 to 10 hour period where their driveway may be inaccessible, and we'll make accommodations to make sure they can still get to their house. They have a safe place to park until the next 72-inch pipe gets moved away from their house and moves on the street. It's no lies, it's going to be inconvenient, it's going to be painful, but it will, because of the grant requirements, it's going to move incredibly quick and much quicker than I would say if it's not a grant funded project.
Here's the outfall for that system.
The outfall is within the waterfront park, I forget the exact name of it, the oval. Contemplative garden, the pipe. Yeah, the pipe runs right through there and then it outfalls underneath the relieving platform.
So it goes in the river.
Yes. And we'll be installing a backflow preventive system, much as Nate discussed this morning on his presentation, that prevents the high tides and things like that from backing up into the system. So it has more conveyance capacity during storm events and things like that.
But that work's not part of what you're talking about, right?
The
Connector,
the backflow preventer will be put in as part of our project.
you'll be working in the park.
Yes, the park will be, that area of the park will be closed for 2 to 3 months as they do the excavation, install the pipe, and then restore the park.
I have one question. The timing of doing the crossing from Charles, across Bay Street into the Contemplative Garden or Park there. You said April or May timeframe. That's kind of in a busy tourist season. Would it make more sense to back that up to February when there's less traffic, less inconvenience?
Let me make sure I quoted the right one.
Which section are you talking about?
Right there where you cross Bay Street, Charles, if he's thinking April or May, you're talking tourist season. If you back it up to February, it's bad.
I can talk to the contractor about that. They've been working with Roll to try to minimize the impacts of the festivals and things at the Fairport Park, so. I'll see if there's any flexibility.
Because May is Gullah Fest.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a situation where we have to pick up one. I mean, there's just never a good time for closing it.
It's not,
Seems like a great opportunity to install some of the city adopted street sections from the civic master plan. Is that being done?
The grant funding is incredibly limited on what it's about to be spent on. Because it is a flood mitigation grant, it can only be spent on structural improvement projects and then restoration of the site back to the roadways back to pre-design conditions. So any additional things like that would have funding from other sources contributed to it.
Is this the same grant that the city, we had so much discussion about, what, a year ago, 2 years ago, we were talking about what to do about King Street down in that.
That's a different.
it's different pots of
Is it a
money.
different grant?
I think this is a score grant.
This is a score.
More grant.
They all have timelines, like the ARPA funds we use. If we've got to get these projects done, all of them, and there's 2 more that haven't been discussed, but they have to be done by December 26th. Supposed to be. Keep the funding.
City manager, mayor, is that something that could be looked into to get more street trees or the right, the right width of sidewalk that was decided, the right lane widths, to incorporate into this while opened up?
We can look into it, but if I understand Jason's explanation correctly, and I've got no reason to doubt it, the project, the grant specifications are such that the road has to be returned to the condition it was in prior to the drainage work being conducted. Is that what I heard?
Well, that's the grant will pay for the restoration of the road back to pre-determined conditions. If you would like to add additional projects onto it, on top of it, that could occur, but it would be through a different funding.
It would also delay the completion of the project, which we can't, quite literally, we can't afford to delay this because we don't want to put that grant funding in jeopardy, and the infrastructure of the drainage system is much more important than aesthetics or any, it's not just aesthetics, I know, but it takes priority overall. I want to be sure these projects.
You can certainly look at it.
Is there any plan in the future to look at Charles Street? There's poles right in the middle of the sidewalk. It's really unusable almost.
We have conversations periodically with Dominion over those poles, and so we definitely continue to take a look at it. And we don't like the fact that they're in the middle of the sidewalk.
I'm willing to help. One idea was to get a little easement from some of the property owners to get them off the sidewalk just into the property owners there. There's a lot of churches that aren't using that space. It could just be temporary. Please let me know if I can help.
Thank you.
So this, to kind of piggyback off of what the city manager was saying, I have a meeting, we haven't set a time yet, but we're meeting with Dominion, one, to understand what's underground, because we don't know what's underground. Two, that also brings in, restrictions of those poles were probably put in the nineties, does what is underground even meet code? Three, the easement issue of what we would have to do to go through easements and all of that. And then four, it more than likely is probably gonna be something that the city would have to take on by itself. And so those are some of the issues we're working through right now. And we are still in the very early phases of working with Dominion to try to get those poles, but we are working to try to, one, upgrade the poles, but also do it correctly. And move them.
Any more questions? We are definitely going to be communicating, especially with the businesses, homeowners and stakeholders on King Street, on Charles Street. They'll be receiving door hangers with the dates of exactly when the work's gonna be done. So Raul is making it an absolute priority to make sure communication is the forefront during these projects, so everybody knows what's going on. We here in city office are also doing the same thing, trying to get the word out as much as possible so that everybody downtown understands when this is happening, what is happening. So we also are going to be having a meeting about the Charles Craven project, and it's going to be Tuesday, October 8th at 6 p.m. right here in this room. So if you know anybody who is a homeowner, a business owner, a stakeholder on Charles Craven, send them that way so that they can come in, ask any questions, so we can make sure to communicate fully with all those involved.
Tuesday's the 7th. Which one?
I have,
This way.
it's the 8th, so it's Wednesday, I'm sorry.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, October 8th,
At 6 p.m. you said.
yes, ma'am, right here in this room. I know that Main Street Beaufort will also be meeting with all the business owners downtown to also, again, just communicate so that we can all work together to make sure that this is as less of a disruption as it possibly can be. Any other questions on that? All right, thank you. I'm gonna open it up to our Mayor Phil Cromer.
Thank everybody for being here this morning. I'm gonna be very quick because I know we've got to get out of here. But couple things, council passed second reading, the final for the ordinance of the golf cart operation at night. So you have to be 16 years old, you have to have lights, front, back, directional seat belts on every occupant of the golf carts. You can operate it at night, but it has to be on secondary roads, 35 miles an hour or less. And I think we'll have maps, Chief, we're gonna have maps for people to know which streets those are, because I think there's some confusion. They might think Rebo Road is a secondary road, which is not. So that's one thing. The second thing is on Bellamy Curve, we have SCDOT is gonna do some striping around that 90-degree turn, and hopefully that will give people, they'll be able to see it and slow down, hopefully, around that curve. We've already had two cars, I think, jump that curve. One of them ended up in the marsh and one individual got injured on that. Third thing is we had a meeting between City Council and the Waterfront Advisory Committee and the engineers. They presented us with 8 options. We selected 3. One is to replace the renewed platform as it is, or maybe a little bit smaller. The second thing is to do a seawall. Third thing is a hybrid of both a fixed and a floating type structure. Those are going to be looked at. We're also going to take a wider view because for resiliency purposes, we're going to have to go up. And if we go up, one thing you have to be concerned about is flanking. That is water coming around the sides of that. So the marina parking lot, all that whole area up to Bay Street is going to have to be looked at. So that's something that's it's going to come back before us. And we'll also get some. Out of those 3 options, we're going to have a public charrette so that people can come and give their input. We're going to talk about whether or not we want cruise ships or other shrimp boats or commercial vehicles tying up to the dock or the seawall, if that was put in. I think that's about it. We're definitely going to get something to do with the day dock, trying to get access to the day dock that goes over the fencing and all that. Anything else, Scott?
Next meeting of the Waterfront Advisory Committee is October 6th, I believe.
6th. All right. And the public is welcome. Yes, Jeremiah.
Thanks for taking a look at Bellamy Curve. Is it possible to look at adding those, they're not bollards, but they're just plastic that would visually narrow the road. Cars wouldn't want to hit them, but it wouldn't hurt the car.
I know, I think.
You mean reflectors above ground? We can
I-
certainly talk to DOT about that, see if that's part of their plan. I
If you're
don't.
driving the speed limit and you're not intoxicated, you shouldn't have a problem. But
Well, that's the problem.
That's
with the
correct.
speed
I
limit.
mean, it's just ridiculous to hear all this. Sorry.
Yeah, but that is sort of, for a while there was a sort of a dark curve, if you will, wasn't well lit. And so some tourists or somebody doesn't know their way around at night. Maybe they've had a libation or two, you're right.
Probably going too fast.
Right,
That too. One of them was, I think, they were being chased.
right.
You have anything, Scott?
No, that pretty much hits the high points of what's relevant and current right now, but if you guys have any questions for myself or the mayor, please, by all means, we'd be happy to answer them or get back to you with the answer if we don't have it.
Right. Well, I know Mr. Mayor's got an appointment here in a minute, so I will move on to the directors. So we always like to give our crew here at the city a chance to come and talk to you, and I always kind of go in order of when they got here. So Nate was here first. So Nate, do you have any updates you want to share further than what you had?
No, not really. You should see a lot of our crews going out. We're on Boundary Street. We've been trimming some of the trees and we've made it about halfway down Boundary, trimming the medians and getting it up. We have a meeting with our new right-of-way contractors today. And so they will be taking over the right-of-ways throughout the city. That company is called Triscapes. So far, they've been very good to work with. They've came out, done a lot of pre-inventory of what they need to do, and got all new equipment and they're ready to go. So excited to meet with them at 1 and get them started with taking care of some of the right of ways, Spanish Moss Trail.
What are they gonna do, Nate? They're gonna take
The
care of
right-of-way
small
maintenance.
things and stuff.
Yeah, they'll be doing most of your like basic maintenance, mowing, blowing, edging, weed eating. And then like on Boundary and some of the streetscaping, they'll be maintaining like the rose bushes and some of the trees and some of the other stuff like that.
Your guys worked Revo Road yesterday.
Yeah, we're still working Revo. We have a joint project coming up with DOT to trim the trees at the signals. So we'll be trimming some of the trees going down Revo Road just to bring them up so you can see the signal heads for safety concerns.
What about that intersection where that car wreck happened 2 weeks ago? Was it First Boulevard at Revo? The gas station has the bushes that everybody's complaining about. That's what be on your list.
We'll take a look at it.
I'll send it to you.
Would it be possible to look at the curb in front of the National Cemetery? We've got a lot of dirt and grass like growing in the road.
So we haven't made it there yet. Our intent is to keep going. So we started it on Boundary and then once we get the median done on Boundary, our intent is to keep moving to Baby Boundary and make it to and around Bellamy's curve. So we will keep pushing and moving. We're just small team. We can only move so fast, but you probably saw us out like 3 weeks ago. We did Seattle Parkway all the way from the Woods Memorial Bridge all the way to Chowan Creek. So we went, we cleaned all the valley drains, edged and cleaned all the sidewalks and got all the stuff off of that there. We're working Boundary now and parts of Revo to try to raise up over the sidewalks. And then again, a lot of this was in preparation to get it where we want it for this new right-of-way contractor to take over. So,
Thank you, Nate. I'm gonna echo city manager on this. They are the unsung heroes of the city. You have no idea the amount of work that they do with such a small team. I mean, they get things done you wouldn't even imagine. It's amazing what they do. So, Chief, I think you were here next, and Captain, if you wanna come and give your update, or if you're here for support, Captain.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for being here today. It's good to see y'all today. And I have to echo about Public Works. We actually give them quite a bit of business. So we, as a department, really rely on Public Works. They do a lot of things for us. Police department's really busy right now. Fall is really our busy time till after the first of the year. We're getting ready for all the holidays and all the things that are going on, Shrimp Festival. We've also got a few planned protests going on in addition to our regular protests every Monday. You will see police presence there. We are there just to keep everybody safe. That's all we're there for. I got told at our last protest that you're sure nicer than another local agency, because we don't yell at our protest. Of course we don't. You're our citizens, you're our people. So we're just there to make sure sidewalks are clear, nobody causes any hassle, and we just make sure everything is safe. So October 18th is going to be a particularly busy day as we have a planned protest that day. Plus, we also have a Halloween event for downtown operations and the Beaufort Historic Homes tour is going on. So we're finishing up at the police department. This time of year too is a lot of our training going on. So we have resiliency training, ethics training, firearms training, and our physical agility testing is going on for our police department. And so many things are happening. That's all that's going on unless you all have specific, I am bringing the speed sign to the Northwestern neighborhood, just so you know. I know I told you, but I had to hold off a little bit in case we needed it for hurricane. So it's in our parking lot and we'll be bringing it down to your neighborhood. So if you have any place that you want our speed sign to be, please let me know. And we'll make sure to get it there. There's a list though, of course, and you'll come in line. The only thing I will say is we have to have a place to put that speed sign because it is rather large. So we need a good 8x8 square space in minimum. So if you need that in your neighborhood or would like it in your neighborhood, all you have to do is list.
Can it fit in Wilson Park?
Can it fit in Wilson Park?
Wilson Park be a place to put
Yeah,
it?
yes.
I request it there.
Okay, got it. You'll be right after. We only have one as they're quite expensive and it is big. So.
Sure.
Yes, and when you talk about the speed sign, it'll flash the speed you're going, the speed you're supposed to be going. We can make it say just about anything. I mean, we can make it say happy birthday, Todd. It doesn't matter what it says. But you will see lights. It does not give tickets and it does not record video, right? It only records speed. And it doesn't record the car.
Put a sign on it that says it does.
Yeah.
Do you have, or is the printout and the data that is collected by the signs as far as speed per car, is that available?
It can be, you just need to tell us that you want the data collected or whatever.
I just would like to see a copy of it once a month or.
We don't really do it that way. We usually send it to a neighborhood and then do it. You know, if the neighborhood wants it, or if we're doing a speed study for the city, we can do that as well. So it'll say so many words, it's really long, it's a bit hard to interpret, but it'll say like so many cars were going over so many miles.
Well, that would be great if they could.
So many were
I'd like to
even,
see
so
that.
many.
I know that's there and I sometime,
And know that you want it, set it to record, make sure to keep it and tell you what area it's in.
and what's the step one for that?
You tell me where you want it and that you want the data recorded and you'd like to see it.
Are there any plans in your budget to buy a second? These signs?
Those are $22,000 when we bought it, and I know they went up, so we're probably looking at $25,000 to $27,000. So, no, we have not planned to ask for a second one yet, but I'm more than willing to have a second one as we use it for all different things. Again, we were keeping it in check for the hurricane in case we had to redirect traffic or anything like that. And it can literally say anything on there because we type it in there. And I think it goes up to like 40 faces that you can have of, speed, put it. Anything you want it to say.
Can we have a fundraiser?
They could say, hey, look, Lisa said hi. I mean, it literally can say anything.
Is this the same one that's on Bay Street now?
No, it's
Is it
in
different?
our back parking lot right now.
Okay. All
It's
right.
the same unit.
It's a 4x6 foot sign and it's got lights at the bottom of it. And when your speed goes over whatever we set it to, those lights go off.
But it doesn't, I won't tell you, because I'm not gonna self-incriminate myself. I'll take it.
Wants the speed.
No, the one on Bay, for example, I'm
Oh,
gonna,
that, I
I'm
know what one you're talking
self-incriminating.
about.
The one on Bay that flashes, is supposed to be 25 miles an hour, but there was no reference to it. There was a sign around the corner about 40 feet that had 25 miles an hour. Somehow, somebody got that sign off and put it on the flashing sign so that you know that it's 25 miles an hour when you see your speed.
I think we had actually had a request to move that
Yeah.
sign to actually come with us.
But that's important too, Yeah.
When do you drive down Bay Street?
all the time.
It lives there.
Asking for.
Is issuing tickets an alternative?
So you cannot issue tickets via speed sign like that in the
Okay.
state of South Carolina, but we can issue tickets, yes. Yes, we
Seems like
can.
a
We
You're
had a
asking-
patrol
cheaper.
car last week at the park near there.
They often do sit
Yeah.
near there, because when I go by there, they're often actually sitting right there when they have time between 911 calls, but yes, sir. Anything else for the police department? Thank you so very much for sharing your time today and interacting with us. We really appreciate it. Be safe. Oh, can I say one more thing? Sorry. Fraud scams. For the love of all that's holy, please don't give people money when they call you or contact. Please. We've had somebody recently that I spoke to personally lose over $200,000 in a scam. And this is our neighbor, okay? Please do not give them money. I would like to warn you of something really quick, and I mean fast. It takes 20 images of you to make a video of you. 20 images to make a deep fake video of you. It takes even less of your voice to make one of you. So if you receive a phone call or if you receive a video that basically says I'm being held hostage, this actually happens, and it sounds like your grandson, granddaughter, your wife, your whoever, before you give anything up, make sure to call their trusted number and verify, please. Please, you're not, and God forbid this ever happened to you, but this is what's happening. Okay? Do not give people money, and if you wouldn't give it to their face, don't give it to them in line.
Don't answer any of their questions with a yes. That's a trigger to say, okay.
Also, if you answer the phone instead of saying hello, you answer with your name, sometimes that doesn't trigger it either. Doesn't trigger the response. Okay, do you have any questions? And if this happens to you, call and make a report to the police department. If you have questions, call the police department, call 911, we'll help you, okay? We will help you, I promise. Anything else? Thanks for allowing me that little bit of time.
Thank you.
All right, John, fire department's up next.
Just for the record, I held the door for the police.
Okay.
For those of you who
My
may not
bad.
know me, I'm John Bassett, the fire marshal. I want to make mine real quick. Next month is November 2nd to the 8th is the burn week. So if you have a permit, you might see some people burning. If you'd like to get a permit, just go see Tara Hodges, our secretary, at our headquarters on 35 Rebo Road. She'll get some information from you. If you're a renter, you have to have a notarized letter from the owner or have the owner go to see her for the permit. One of the safety tip I'd like to give y'all is it's getting a little bit colder out there. So if you're going to use heating appliances at your house, just make sure you have at least 3 feet unobstructed around it and follow the manufacturer's recommendations. So that's all I have, unless y'all have any questions. Thank y'all. I'll see y'all next time.
Alan, I know that from finance, you were next.
Shortest trip from upstairs to downstairs. Last one here. Next I'll get you Laura. Good morning. As far right now, we're in our new fiscal year 26, but in our fiscal year 25, which ended back in June, is we actually have our auditors upstairs right now going through our audit. So we're got all the field work testing right now, and we should have our financial report ready by the end of December. Put everything together, but right now they're checking all our numbers, make sure everything's okay. So it's a busy time in the fire department. We'll also be out this weekend for selling tickets for Shrimp Festival, so I hope to see everyone out there on Friday and Saturday as well. So it's a good time. But if you have any questions, just.
Are you selling tickets for the city?
Yes. Yes,
I mean, somebody's going to. Really?
Yeah,
And when do the county tax bills come out?
those will come out usually around November, December.
Oh, so okay,
timeframe.
okay.
Yeah, they put everything together. That's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, he said exactly what I was gonna say is don't forget that Shrimp Festival is this weekend. He is gonna be out there selling tickets. The food's gonna be amazing, the music's gonna be amazing, and we only sell local shrimp at the shrimp festival. So no shrimp day here. Beaufort's very proud to only support our local shrimpers. So it's gonna be an amazing weekend. It's gonna be Friday and Saturday, so make sure you come out and enjoy the festival. We also have the Halloween event that's coming up October 18th. I know they're looking for volunteers. I know they're looking for sponsors, but it's a really great event downtown where we generally have about 2,500 kids show up and have a blast and go trick or treating. And it's a good, safe environment for them to come and enjoy, Halloween downtown. And then shortly after that is gonna be Night on the Town. So, and the holiday weekend in general, it's coming up fast. So just keep those on your radar, as our team here at the city are working hard on all of those events to get them ready, going, and I know they'd love to see you this weekend at Shrimp Festival. I think that's all I have. Anybody have any questions for me? All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. I hope you'll go and send this back to your neighborhoods, give them this information. If you have any questions or need anything further from me, I'm an email away and I'll be happy to send you whatever you need, or whatever question you have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.